In this video, we are taking the brand new Futaba T6PV and we're going to be using it with the GYD550 gyro here in my rear-wheel drive drift car Sakura D6. We're going to be trying to connect it via SBUS, look at what additional tuning features that gives us specifically with this T6PV, and then testing them and seeing if we can figure out what those different settings do, and maybe coming to a recommended guideline for what settings are a good baseline for folks to start with. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is Roadside RC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, plus doing product review videos and how-tos. Let's get started by firing the car and the controller up and seeing what it takes to just flip the SBUS switch on. When I first set this car up, I have the gyro plugged into channel 1, I have channel 2 as the ESC, and I have channel 3 as the gyro gain. I'm going to leave it plugged in exactly like that as we start. With the controller on, we're coming in here to the menu. We're going to come down to accessory menu and we're going to go to gyro link, and then it says which connection do we want, channel 1 or do we want wireless RX SBUS. Don't actually have it plugged into the SBUS itself. I have it plugged into channel 1. So let's see what happens there. Oh, look at that. It gives us the ability to connect to it even just through channel 1. We have two pages here. We have the basic setting and gyro data 1. Under basic setting, we have a response mode, low, middle, high. What does that mean? We have a limit. We have a neutral offset, we have reverse, we have mode settings of SR or normal, which I have a non-SR servo in there right now. We have a gain mode of normal or AVCS, and we have ability to write. Here under gyro data 1, we have normal or AVCS mode, and oh, look at that. So there's a damper point, steering control gain, and tail slide speed. And if I change from normal to AVCS there, those first three numbers change. And then we have a steering speed of turn and return. And we have, what the heck is that? X-axis is my steering input, and the Y-axis a gain curve. Ooh, right now it's just 100 all across the board. So if I crank the steering wheel more, it may turn the gain up or down. I don't know why I would ever want that. All right, so let's go over here to the basic settings at first. First thing I know I need to change is the car's pulling just slightly left, and so we're gonna go into this neutral offset and see if I can't fix that. I was able to bump that to -20 and then come down here and right. Now my steering is a little bit more centered. While I was there, I also messed with this A and B. Those are my steering endpoints. So you can actually crank it to one side and then up and down that to control your steering endpoints. It's kind of handy to be able to do it that way. If you know the GYD550, doing it via button pushes over here is a little bit miserable. So being able to do endpoint adjustments this way, that's pretty nice. Going down here and reversing. Oh, that reverses the gyro, so that's good to use, but I need to put that back to normal. Okay, and then we have a mode setting here of SR normal. Well, again, I don't have an SR servo, so I can't use that. We have a response mode up here that is high, middle, or low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive it. Drive it like this, and then we're going to change this response mode up here and see what it feels like. Oh, that one's interesting. So if I use the response mode up here, and if I go from high to low, I jumped all the way down to low and then had it write it in there. What it felt like is it felt like I went from like a 64-bit processor to like a 12-bit processor in the gyro. Instead of the gyro being highly responsive and to every little movement, everything happening with the car, it felt like it was like in a lag. It felt like it was struggling to keep up with the changes and everything that were happening as I tried to drive around. Response mode, let's leave that at high. Now over here, I'm in normal mode right now, I'm not in AVCS. So we're gonna go from standard mode to high gain mode. This we're putting back to high gain. We're gonna save that changing right there. We're just driven it back and forth both ways. What was really interesting about that is a lot of people don't like the Futabas because it feels like the Futabas maybe drive themselves a little bit too more. They like something like the Yokomo because it feels like you have to kind of control it more. It's exactly what that just did there. It made it to where I felt like I had more steering input going around the track than I did in the normal mode. In normal mode, I feel like I barely touch the steering wheel the whole time. Barely moving it, very, very small movements, because otherwise the car's taking care of it. With this one, a lot more input. So I think that is a tuning item that folks may want to consider, is this gain mode in here and turning that to high. If we come back out here and we go into gyro data 1, now again, normal versus AVCS. We're gonna leave it on normal, but I'm gonna note that the difference between it, damper goes from 20 to 30, damper point goes from 24 to 10, steering control gain goes from 25 to 30. So a little bit differences there. Tail slide speed is 120. So let's start, first I guess, let's just start by doing that. Let's first start by just hopping over into the AVCS mode and seeing what that feels different. Changing all three of those numbers at once, get a big change, and then we'll come back and change a couple of them one by one. That is confirming exactly what I've felt for a while now. Ever since the GYD550. GYD550, I loved AVCS mode in that gyro. Ever since then, it's felt too like stuck in the mud, stick in the mud that I can't control. Seems too slow. So we're gonna put it back to normal. We're gonna look at how we can change these numbers. So the damper goes all the way up to 50. It was at 20 in AVCS mode. It goes from 20 to 30. So we're gonna leave the damper point and the steering control gain. We're gonna leave those alone. And we're gonna jack the damper up. We're gonna go from 20 to 40 and see just that damper alone, what difference does that make? Wow, what is that? It's like the gyro just won't respond. The gyro is all the way stuck in the mud. Like that's full hard right. And it just won't do anything. Okay, we're gonna take that back off. And then damper point was at 24. Ooh, it goes all the way up to 100. Let's take it from 20 to, let's go to 50. So what I immediately notice is the front wheels are wobbling. I don't know if you can actually see that on the screen or not, but it's like I've told it to not damper at all any of the gyro gain until a higher level. So that's interesting. But yeah, that definitely needs to be at a lower number to reduce the gyro wobble. All right, and now we're gonna go to the steering control gain. Steering control gain, I was at 25. Upper limit is 100, so let's take it to 60. Steering control gain. I went from 25 to 60 to 80. Couldn't really tell a difference. So I don't know what it does, but for me, needs more testing before I'm going to be able to figure out what that does. So let's come down here to tail slide speed. It's at 120. 350 is the most. I actually lowered it. I took it all the way up to 350. And noticing from 120 to 240 to 350, it didn't feel crazy different. But when you jack that thing all the way down to the minimum, which is 10, then the car basically won't even turn. It does not want the tail to slide at all. And so that is exactly what that is for. For most of you folks who want really snappy drifts, you're going to want this number a lot higher. For those who want a lot more stable, slow transitions, you're going to want that one number lower. But honestly, that like 120-ish that it came with is pretty dang good for, I'd say, most situations. But I think I'm going to try to run this thing maybe in this like 250-ish range. Okay, now turn and return speed should be how fast it goes out and how fast it comes back. Honestly, I don't feel like messing with those. I don't think either one of those are something that I want to change. I've been very happy with how the car does. Steering gain curve. We're gonna make a little smiley face right in the center of the steering. So what I've done is I've taken 0.1 and 0.2, which are just inside, just off of center there. And I've taken them to 50 and 60, and I'm gonna see, does that mean that I feel like I have more control of the car right here, and if I get to a higher point, it actually increases the amount of gain once I've steered more? And just confirming here on this steering gain curve, if you can see there as an example, I put center of steering all the way at 0. And once I write that in, the gain is literally off. The gyro is not doing anything. So that is exactly what you're doing with this setting, is you're just adjusting what percentage of your gyro gain are you allowed to use based on steering input. Okay, now I've tested this multiple ways. I brought 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way down to 50%. Did a lot of that kind of thing. 100% is whatever you have your gyro gain set to, and these are percentages where it's reducing the amount of gain in that area that you put it. Here, I think I'm pretty much going to ignore it. And over here is that damper point, and then tail slide speed. That's really where you have some ability to change how the car feels. Just to round out the options here, I took the wire that was going from RX input here on the gyro and was plugged into channel 1. I just moved it over here to the SBUS. And then on the controller under gyro link, you can then come down here to SBUS instead of channel 1, and it still connects in. You can still do all the same basic settings underneath that. That looks exactly the same. And then you'll notice there's 5 gyro datas here. But what's interesting is they're all the same. So here's gyro data 1 normal, gyro data 2 normal, gyro data 3 normal. So I'm guessing these are 5 different alternative profiles that you can choose, including the silly curve one. You can set all 5 of these up and then choose them depending on the scenario that you're in. But basically, it doesn't matter whether you use the channel 1 or the SBUS, you have all the same basic controls. SBUS just gives you the ability to program even more stuff. So I hope this video was useful for you. If you have any questions about what I've said, please leave them down in the video comments, and I'll be attempting to answer as many as I can. If you're curious about getting either this controller or this gyro, links to both of those will be in the video description itself, where you can go get them. And if you have other concerns or questions about just the basic overview of how to use this controller, the basic setup of the gyro, or other things, I have a whole drift tech playlist that'll be popping up over here to your right, and I hope some of those videos in there can be useful for you. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.